Hey everybody, this is Big Mike in for Resistor Vic, and welcome to the Resistance, as Vic would say. Today we are here with Vance Bostic. He is running in New York 8, I believe,
Yep.
against the current minority leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries. So Vance,
Yeah.
introduce yourself and let people know why you're running and what made you want to get involved.
Yeah. My name is Vance Bostic, and I am running in New York's 8th congressional district against Hakeem Jeffries because we need real people to represent real people. We need to remove the grip of the billionaires and the corporations who own our entire government and our entire Congress. It is a major problem, and things are getting out of control. And if we don't get it back, there may be no coming back from what's ahead, whatever this regime has planned and what the Heritage Foundation has planned and all of it. So I think it's important that, we remove the roadblocks that are in our own party in order to actually get to the problem itself. And a part of that is that all of our Congress is owned and they all kind of pay, well, not all of them, a majority of our Congress is like owned and they all play for the same team and it's not our team and it is a major problem. So I think at the core of anything when we want done, whether it's affordability or there's a standard of living, removing those roadblocks to make all of that happen is priority. And that's why I'm running. Because we need real people in these positions. We need to take it back. Yeah, we need people who live our very real lived experiences in there.
Absolutely. So Mia and Resistor Vic are Colorado based. Tell us and our audience a little bit about the New York process. Is it a primary? Is it a caucus? When it is, and how they can support you.
Yeah, so in New York City, it's we have a closed Democratic primary. Closed primaries in general with Republican as well. Although we're not really a Republican state. New York is blue for the most part. Especially this district, it is very deep blue. There's not even many registered Republicans or like that at all. Through just in general in New York and specifically in this district. Um, yeah, you can go to my website. You can check out all of my social media links, and that's how you can also see a picture of the district if that helps. And yeah, you can go there, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can join the Discord. That's how people are able to get involved. Part of the process is when I made the decision to run, I wanted to kind of modernize the system where we're not just representatives, but we're working as a team with the people. People don't vote, people don't get involved because they don't feel heard, they don't feel represented, they don't feel included, they feel left out and shut out. So therefore, they don't participate in the process. And I think a big part of what I want to do is figure out ways to include people in the process more, which is why throughout the campaign, I've developed this Discord where people, everybody, anybody can come on and they can help mold what we're doing, help mold this journey. And furthermore, once I get into Congress, a big part of the plan is to run polls in the district for bills that I go to vote on to give people the opportunity to actually participate directly in the bill voting process of that. And yeah, I think that's something that we need to do. We live in a modern world where we have cell phones, where we have computers. We should be able to modernize the process. It doesn't just have to be town halls where your representative shows up and says, "This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do." Instead of even like listening to you, really, instead of telling you what they're going to do for you, they're saying, "This is what I'm going to do," and it's like for the billionaires and for the corporations.
Right.
I think we have to give the power back to the people at all levels and include them into the process more. And that's definitely why I want to have that idea and do that idea where I'm running the polls or where people can jump into the campaign and help come up with opposition research or tell me about events or even come to events and be a part of the design process, the policy formation. All of it is it's meant to include everybody, and that's really the idea. Is the gate is kept closed for all of us in all areas, and I think it's about getting real people in there to represent us, to be a part of us, to bring us into it. I mean, that's what I want to see in Congress. So, I mean, be the change you want to see in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you mentioned New York City, obviously ultra blue as it gets. Why do we still have representatives like Schumer and Jeffries representing an area that ideally should look more like Mamdani and AOC?
Yeah. Um, Money. So the simple answer is money. Money has bought our entire government. And for whatever it's worth, what for better or worse, whatever it is, these people are so entrenched in a system that they've kind of lost touch with the real world. They've lost touch with real people. Whether it's their upbringing from just having middle class upbringings and private schooling and whatnot, whether it's just too much time spent in Congress, whether it's just too much time being on the chase for more wealth and for more money, they've lost touch with the everyday average person. And I think that's a big part of the problem is they're like, I don't even think they like see that anything is wrong, honestly. Like it's weird. Like I want to say like Hakeem is putting on like a front. Like I get that it's all performative and it's fake when we're seeing him and he's like, oh, I said don't do this. And that's all it is. And I don't know, there's something in there where it's like maybe they actually do believe that everything is fine and they're working as hard as possible. And for whatever reason, they're ignoring the comment sections or people telling them in the street, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, it needs to change. And I think that, again, we have to get more people more involved in order to make that change because people don't come out and vote, and therefore these people are allowed to stay in office, and we have to change that.
Was there a moment that you decided to get into this race? Obviously, taking on the current minority leader
Yeah.
and one of the biggest fundraisers in Congress, pretty big ask. So, what made you decide to get in?
It went down to that very idea of, again, we need real people representing real people. And the whole time I had just graduated back in June 2025. I got my master's degree. And when I got done with that, I'm looking around at the world and it's falling apart. Trump is just killing people on the streets, um, kidnapping everyone. It's just a problem. All of it. Hakeem is complicit. Hakeem is writing strongly worded letters and wagging his finger around. Hakeem is flying to Silicon Valley to go meet the tech bros to make sure his money is in order. Hakeem is not stepping up, and I'm looking and I'm like, he does not represent Brooklyn. He does not represent me. Zoran won the primary in 2025, and it was a sense of hope all around, everywhere. It was like, wow. And at that moment is when I was like, prior, I was like kind of thinking about how do I help? I didn't know how to jump in. But Zoran winning the primary was while acknowledging everything that's been happening throughout the year and kind of just being like, holy shit, this is fuck. I don't know. And then many people was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help. What do I do? There was kind of like this realization when Zoran won. I was like, well, there's that's what it is. People are missing representation. People need hope. People want to relate to the representatives. And in that process, I was like, I need to get more involved in the community. So I was doing some stuff around, and then in it was kind of like within the span of like 3 weeks. It was like June, July, but between from when I like had this feeling to like I think July like 16th, 17th, like 19th, or the 20th, I was like I had publicly announced at that point in time. So it was like really like a short time span. But in this time, I was like, Hakeem is like failing. People want hope. We need real people. We need people not beholden to money. And I've felt that. I mean, my background is in hospitality. I've done artistry, photography, music, videography, and while working in the hospitality industry. And in that, I mean, you don't make any money. So I've always worked for my passions, for my beliefs, things that I loved. And I've always worked in the service industry. And I'm like, that's what we need. We need public servants. So in that time frame, it's kind of all these ideas going in my head. And I'm like, well, this is really where I feel like this is be the strongest place for me to be in my life right now, is to utilize this passion that I have for people, this passion that I have for service, this lack of passion that I have for money or the attainment of it, and say we need people that actually wants to represent the people. The billionaires have too much power. The corporations have too much protection. We don't have any. They've stolen everything from us. I think this is what I need to do with my life.
And you
So yes,
mentioned Mamdani's election. So after he was elected, there was talk about I think it was his fellow DSA member Chiose running. Um,
sure.
didn't really. I guess they withdrew or
Hmm.
something. They didn't have the support, I guess, from Mamdani or DSA or someone,
Hmm.
and decided to drop out. So what was their reason for dropping out, and was that part of you stepping up? Did you feel like there has to be at least one progressive that challenges Hakeem Jeffries, or
No, I had announced again back in like July 2025, and I filed in August, like a month later, of 2025. So I was already running before that even had happened.
okay?
And as that was I was watching as it was unfolding. Um Yeah, and I forget what his exact reason was, but for the most part he didn't have the DSA support. He kind of said like if I don't have the DSA support, I'm not gonna go through this race. And that's kind of like what happened for the most part, as far as I can remember. Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty much it. He was doing he wanted the DSA support and he wasn't able to get it. And for that, he said that he wasn't going to continue into the race. But I mean, the whole thing with Zoran saying that nobody should have like a challenger and whatever, like I still disagree. Again, I was running before any of that was happening. Like I was like before I was even running, I was canvassing around Brooklyn for Zoran. And so I was like, and in the process of doing that, I'm thinking of all these things of how do I help and how do I make a change. So I was already kind of like Hakeem has pulled his mask off. I see through the shit for months before that. And then I just kind of was like, well, I'm not valuing that. I don't believe that Hakeem should stay. I don't believe Hakeem should be Speaker of the House. Whether anybody else wants to run, this is the path that I'm on. This is what I've kind of committed to doing, and I'm gonna stay on that. So really, none of that actually affected me. Yeah, too much.
Understood. And just to be clear, I'm 100% on your side. I think
Thank you.
Schumer, Jeffries, Fetterman, all of these people
Yeah,
need to go.
all of them. We
Um,
got a clean house.
yeah. And so that's kind of what me and Vic are working here in the West.
Yeah.
And so when he gave me your number, I was like, I would love to take out Hakeem Jeffries. Let's get him
Yeah.
on ASAP.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. And I know it was like such a short, like, because I think I like messaged you either late last night or early this morning at some point and was like, yeah, let's do this like right now. Like, but
Yes,
that's sometimes my
100%.
schedule is so tight right now. We just entered ballot access and gathering the signatures. It's a lot of work and like I'm pulling a lot of the like heavy lifting myself, which is not a problem and all, but it's a lot to be done. And in order to get it done, I'm crunching the time here. Yeah.
So with
So
that, tell
I was
us.
happy that you called and was like, "Let's do this. I'm here. I'm like ready." And I was like, "Yes."
Absolutely. And let's get down a little bit to the nitty gritty. Tell us about your politics and tell us what your priorities are once you should win and get in office.
Yeah. So I'll give you like a little backstory real quick to start that off. When I had originally decided to run, I necessarily didn't want to have a platform to run on. The idea again with incorporating people, and that was kind of from the jump. I was like, people need to be more involved. People need to be incorporated. I really wanted the people, as I ran the race, to kind of be like, this is what we want. This is how we got to do it. Let's write this policy up. Let's do it like this. That quickly kind of went away when as I began to run, people were like, what is your platforms? What is your policy? What are you running on? And then it was hard to be like, well, I was kind of hoping that we would do this together. So like people didn't want to hear that shit. So no, I ended up having to build a platform. And the idea behind it was okay, so no more asking. We've been asking for certain things for too long, whether it's healthcare for all, whether it's a standard of living, whether it's getting Citizens United out, um housing, just cleaning up the street, like all of it. We've been asking for too long, and the idea is no more asking. It's time to actually start implementing. So that when I was coming up with what I think was great for the people, that was kind of the central focus point of it was because I didn't have what I wanted was having the people involved in writing it. I said, well, let's just do what we've been asking for anyway. So that's really the idea. But again, yeah, no, it goes more into detail with the universal health care. This is something that no more asking. And I know that on day one, we want to make sure that we're funding ERs straight away. We're making sure that, like, specifically in Brooklyn here, we have a SUNY downstate that's kind of like closing all over the place. So we want to make sure that we send funding to these things. And other hospitals in rural areas, hopefully, not hopefully, because we are running as a coalition. All the candidates that are running, we kind of all talk to each other on the regular anyway. Because what we foresee is like-minded people in these priorities, we're getting all the same things done. So a lot of our platforms are very much the same because we do want to make sure that we are providing for the people and we're doing what the people have been screaming for so long. So the idea, yeah, we definitely want to do that. But healthcare for all is up there. It's something that is a priority. Housing, this is something that I we all face. I've dealt with eviction. So many people are dealing with eviction. Housing to me does not feel like it needs to be tied to investment. We're fucking around with people's real lives when we're doing that and saying, I'm just going to invest. And if they don't got the money, then fuck them, kick them to the curb. And I don't think that that's the way that we should be building humanity moving forward. So I think that making sure that people can purchase their properties is something. Removing private equity from owning private housing or public housing, or both, all of it, really, just housing in general is a problem. Let's end that stuff. Again, these are the kind of things that we've just been asking for, so let's do it. I will say, out of all the things on my platform, the one thing that I am the most passionate about, that I really personally wanted to include, was my artist and gig workers bill of rights. And really what that is just including artists and gig workers and vendors into the current bill of rights that we have now, to make sure that these people are protected as well, especially as AI is taking everyone's job and people are resorting to gig work and people are resorting to artistry to survive. We need to make sure that they're protected. And also, the platform kind of is, the idea of it is to compile on top of each other. So healthcare for all definitely goes into the artists and gig workers to make sure that people have healthcare. Housing, again, we want to reinstate the COVID era eviction moratoriums. That's to make sure people are not losing their housing just because they can't afford to live there temporarily. All these things, really, again, it's about making sure that we're protected. It's removing the grip from the billionaires, it's removing the grip from the corporations, it's returning the power back to the people. And that was kind of the central idea of formulating the platform. Yeah. No, that was a little
Awesome.
long-winded, but
Not a problem, not a problem. And again, about your politics, are you a DSA
oh yeah,
member?
my
Are
politics.
you
Yeah,
are you backed by DSA, Working Families Party, anybody?
I am not backed by anybody for the most part. I'm very far left, I'll just say that. I am a DSA member. I am not backed by the DSA.
Okay.
So there is that. But no, my personal politics, I'm very far left. I get, and I know I kind of say, like, every time somebody is like fuck the far left or whatever, I'm like, what even is far left? Like healthcare for all? And so like I get that saying like far left is weird, but I'm extremely progressive. I believe that we should not have a paywall to survival. I think that's part of, again, what my platform is. It's the idea is that we have to remove the paywall to survival, and I think our basic needs should be met in the long run. And for me, we have five basic needs, and it's food, water, housing, healthcare, education, and those things should just be provided to humanity in whatever way that we can make that happen, because we shouldn't just, first of all, we shouldn't be paying to live. Life shouldn't come with a price tag and debt where you spend your whole life just trying to get out of that. It's a tool that they've used to lock us into a trap, so we have wage slavery still, and I think that that has to be removed. I also I believe our only border is the atmosphere. I think that we are in a time of human history where we need to unite the planet. I think fuck the wars. What we need is diplomacy. I don't understand how we're in 2026 and we're still fucking stealing resources and we're still having wars and we're building goddamn planes and warships. And it just makes no sense how we're not just extending diplomacy. How are we not trying to work together as a species on a planet floating through fucking space? It makes no sense to me. So yeah, no, those are my personal policies, I guess.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, you look at a country like China who hasn't had a major war really since they backed up Korea in the 50s.
Yeah.
And they've just grown leaps and
Yeah.
bounds. And you look at a Chinese city compared to someplace.
It is saddening to see, just from like an American perspective, when I'm just like, and just like I will say, the awakening to the lie of like American exceptionalism has been something to cope with a little bit. And I know everybody's like, kind of, we're actually having like a mass awakening, kind of like at a rate never before seen, just globally also, which is why I think this is the perfect time to unite people. But as an American here, it's kind of like coming to terms that like with we are the bad guys of the world and we actually like are hurting our own people intentionally. It's difficult to process, but I think it's important to recognize and to like speak about, because that's how we make progress forward actually, and that's how we're going to change stuff where we can, hopefully, if we get our shit together, get on the level of China, because they're surpassing us in so many ways. Oh my God.
I mean, the bullet trains.
it's 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 just, it's like I said, it makes me so sad to be like an American sometimes, to see how we fucked each other over.
I mean, we're excited here in Colorado just to get a rail line, from Fort
Yeah.
Collins to Colorado Springs. Not a bullet train, just
Yeah.
a
No,
regular passenger rail we're trying to get.
we've got to do better. We're at a time where if we don't, we're going to be screwed. I don't know how we're gonna rectify if we don't get our shit together this year. Like I keep saying, like people keep wanting to have the second American Revolution, and I think that this is the year that we do it. We take back our government and we put real people to reflect society in these positions. There are people like me, regular people, everyday people, running all across this nation, like we've never seen before. This is the time that we can actually change the system. We can have the second American Revolution where it's not all boom, boom, bang, bang. We take back our government. We put real people who actually want to do these things that we have all been screaming for decades.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, the real trick is getting people involved.
Hmm.
Um, so what is your thought on how do we get those people who are disenfranchised, who feel like their vote doesn't matter? How do we get them to the polls?
We relate to them. We have to be them. We need people in these positions. They actually reflect these people in every way, from background to upbringing to just where they are in life. Just that's what people need. And that's something that Zoran showed me. That's part of, besides his message of affordability, he was also able to resonate with so many people because he felt relatable and real still. Um, but even further than that, I mean, that's part of why I'm running because I am a very real person. And I think what I want to see is somebody that reflects me. And I feel like that's something that other people want to see is someone that reflects them in whatever way possible. That's how we get people to be more involved. Then, hopefully, down the line, when we actually start providing, they're like, all right, I see how actually my vote affects the system. Because right now, sure, people vote, but guess what? Lobbyists are writing legislation for our congressmen to pass. So nothing's actually being passed for us. So it's like, well, my vote doesn't even matter anyway, because here we are struggling more and more year after year. Corporations are having record-breaking profits. So we have to get not only be relatable, we have to provide. And I think while being relatable is a great way to try to keep them in the process, providing is actually another way to show that their vote counts, their vote matters. But also, my plan is to include them, inclusion in the process to show them how their vote and their inclusion is actually going to affect them in a very real way. I think we don't see that, but that's not something we're seeing right now. So it's kind of like, well, we can hope for that and whatever. But I think we can actually make that happen, and I really do.
Awesome. Let me see what else I got here. So that's all I've got. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah,
Um,
I could go on forever. I like not to really like talking about what's going on, but I think spreading awareness and just being heard is so important because that's what people want. People just want to be heard also. So and people want to see something familiar. So I think I can just go on forever. I can just keep doing this
all
for the
right.
most part.
So remind everybody again, when is the primary and where can they find you and how do they get involved?
Yeah. So the primary is June 23rd here in New York City, and it's a closed Democratic primary. So you have to be a registered Democrat in order to vote in the primary. Again on June 23rd. You can check out my website. It is vanceb for ny8.com. And then from there you can find like donation links. You can find links to the Discord, which I definitely recommend. Even if you're not in New York, join the Discord because that is how people are actually helping formulate this campaign and then beyond hopefully. So yeah, join the Discord. You can find all my links to my social medias from there. And yeah, everything is from my website, vanceb4ny8.com. And also read my Ballotpedia. I really put a lot of like love and attention into
I actually
providing.
have it pulled up right
Yeah,
here.
do you like it?
I do,
No,
yeah.
I go over this whole like monologue about Buffy in there. Like it's so I kind of loved it. Like it was fun writing, and I kind of like I like being transparent and I like being open. I really like wearing my heart on my sleeve and just speaking, no matter what it is.
So a
So
couple of things I did want to bring up there at the end. Corporate and APAC PAC money.
yep.
Um, what's your thoughts?
And end them. I mean, again, it's about removing the grip of money over our Congress. So no more. That's how we bring about this change. We need people, not only people who are loyal to humanity, but people who won't be swayed by this money. Because the problem is people can be bought, and that's what we need to make sure that whoever is in office can't be bought by these people because that's the grip we're removing. Yeah.
And you've already mentioned your pro healthcare for all. Are you planning for a Medicare for all, i.e. Bernie Sanders, or do you have a different
No,
version you
I do
prefer?
support the Bernie Sanders plan for sure. I will also say that with all the candidates running, everybody's kind of got a bunch of different ideas. So I'm excited for the future to sit down and kind of put together something. But at this point, no, I definitely support the Bernie Sanders plan. Um, but yeah, no, but again, a bunch of candidates have a bunch of different ideas, and I would like to come up with something that like truly everybody wants. That's also part of it. It's not just what we want, it's what the people actually want. So if the people support whatever, I think that's the way. We got to include them in the process as well. So it can't just be whatever we want. But I do support the Bernie Sanders plan. Yeah.
And to stay on Bernie, he and Ro Khanna just introduced a 5% billionaires tax. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I actually, in my thing, I think I propose a like 2% tax. Oh no, a 90% tax on like wealth over like 10 million, I believe it is. But I went high too because I think we should just be taxing the fuck out of them anyway. But no, I support whatever they want to do. Again, whatever the people want is really what I want to do. I want to do whatever we have been asking for. I know we've been saying tax the rich. How much we tax the rich is where I say like we can like negotiate and debate on, but I think taxing them is definitely a priority. And there's a lot of different ideas out there, but yeah, no, taking them out of existence is like kind of key. I actually would love to propose a billionaire cap where we cap wealth at 1 billion and anything above that gets redirected back into society. And if you become a billionaire, woo, yay, you get a certificate, you won capitalism, great. You got your 1 billion. Cool.
Yeah,
And then, but everything above that just goes back into society, infrastructure, education, all of it for humanity, for the planet, for
yeah.
sustainability. That's what
We'll
I
get
say.
you one of those like platinum YouTube.
Yeah.
Here you
Congratulations,
go.
billionaire. You won
You won. You
capitalism.
have
Yay.
$1 million. That's where it ends.
That's it. Yeah, so yeah, no, that's something I would definitely want to do again, but that works with diplomacy because it's got to be a global thing. It's got to be something we worldwide want to do. We want to just cap wealth at 1 billion. That's it.
And as far as the Democratic Party goes, have you heard anything from them? Are they actively working against you? Are they kind of just ignoring you? What's
I think that right now, yeah, they're definitely ignoring me. Whether they're working against me or not, I don't know. I think I got a lot of bots in my comments, but that's a whole other story. I don't know if they're actively working against me. I don't know if they even are paying attention. And for the most part, I kind of rather keep it that way for as long as we can. Because I'm on the streets, I'm talking to people, and if we can get enough people, listen, we only need about 40 to 60,000 votes to win the primary election. So, and again, that's just because that number is so low because people again don't come out. So I think getting people out to vote, making sure that people know that somebody is running against Hakeem. Right now, my focus is on getting on the ballot because if enough people hate Hakeem, and if I don't reach whoever I can't reach in this time frame, then maybe they just see fucking my name and they see Hakeem's name and they're like, well, we're definitely not voting for Hakeem, so let's give this person a chance. I don't know. Whatever the case is, I'm trying to reach people.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Like progressives should be challenging every one of these centrist Democrats.
Yeah,
And that's why I started my channel. I'm Big Mike on TikTok. If you don't know
yeah,
me and you're
yeah.
here for Resistor Vic, please give me a follow. Um, but my goal was to get progressive candidates out there and get their names seen, get their faces seen.
Hmm.
If no one's challenging these people, then they're just going to keep winning.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I've been putting up posters all through the district. So just even if people if I don't see people, at least they see my name and they see my face. And for me, when I was canvassing for Zoran, a big part of that, when I was at the beginning, when I was talking to people and they were like, I don't even know who that is, it was about getting his name out there. So I would always walk around with like the poster of his name. And like I would just walk places, just carry that on me. Or like I would wear his pins on me. And I really was like, that's how we get him seen. That's how I've had his signs in my yard.
yeah.
And I was like, that's we got to get his name out there. People need to see who he is and hear about him. And that's how we're going to get him into office. So kind of I follow that same strategy when I'm doing my own campaign now, where I've been putting up posters all around the district of just my face and my name and just the plan. Actually, there's a little bit of the platform is on there too. And I really, yeah, people sometimes reach out to me like, I saw your poster. Sometimes I'll be speaking to somebody and they'll be like, oh, I saw it. I'll see somebody take a picture of it on the street and I'll see it somewhere randomly online. Like, so it is about getting my name out there however I can and wherever I'm being shadow banned on the internet or suppressed or whatever the case is. The streets is what matters. So making sure that I'm knocking on doors, making sure that I'm passing out my card, making sure that I'm putting up posters. However, the district can see me, that's what matters the most. Online presence is like cool and all, but it's not what counts the most. Being seen in the district is what's going to make the difference here.
And have you reached out to any of the kind of anti-corporate Democrats, the Justice Democrats, or David Hogg's new thing that he's doing?
Yeah,
Have you reached out to any of those guys?
I've reached out to them. And I will say, yeah, nobody wants to take on the race for the most part. Nobody's gotten back to me about it, at least. Uh, yeah, but I've reached out to them several times. I've heard back from Justice Democrats that they had to be nominated in order to like get their attention. Like people had to nominate you, and I've had people say that they nominated me and whatever, but I haven't heard back from them. I've reached out to David Hogg's Leaders We Deserve. I haven't heard back from them. Actually, I had a phone call with somebody from David Hogg's team one time. It was just like a quick like 15-minute like phone interview, and nothing ever happened to that. After the end, they were just like, okay.
Yeah.
That they like so yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not looking for endorsements. It's not what's gonna prop up I mean, it'd be great. Cool. If I get it, I get it. But if I don't, that doesn't change the fact that this has to happen. Because if we don't break the cycle now, there is this like not breaking the cycle, keeping this pattern going. It means that we're all fucked, and we
What's
can't
that?
be fucked.
What's that TikTok audio? It's like break the cycle, or the
Yeah.
or the cycle will continue.
But it's so true though, because it has to happen now. This is the year. This is the moment. If we don't take this opportunity, I don't know. Listen, I've played the dystopian game. I've watched that movie. I've read that book. It's not good. And if we don't get it together, we see the world that they're trying to build. We know what the Heritage Foundation wants to do. We know what these billionaires want to do. If they continue to get away with what they're doing, we are so fucked. So we are at a point where we can get that together. We can take back our power. And I know it's a long shot, and I know that I don't have political like experience or whatnot, but like again, that's why it's about including the people. It's gonna take all of us at every level moving forward. That's how we take care of each other.
And to your point, if I was in New York and I saw anyone else on there other than Hakeem Jeffries, I'd be voting for them. So
Yeah.
I
Uh,
think,
Getting on the ballot is priority right now. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna try to challenge the signatures. There's gonna be a whole process of dealing with getting on the ballot. Right now we're in ballot access, so we're just gathering the signatures, and when we go to submit to the Board of Elections, we'll see what happens with that.
Well, best of luck to you, Vance. I'm rooting for you. I know Vic
Thank you.
is as well.
Yeah.
We're not fans of the centrists. So
No.
if there's anything else you'd like to add, go ahead now.
Yeah, I think I'd like to leave just people with the message. We all breathe the same air. We all walk the same ground. We all bleed the same blood. We are all a part of the human race. We are all a part of the village of Earth. And it's going to take literally the entire village to get out of this and to build something new that works for all of us. That's it.
Beautiful. I'm Big Mike, everybody. I'm in for Resistor Vic while he is on the campaign trail. So give me a follow over at Big Mike on TikTok. Resistor Vic could use all of your support for House District 47 here in Colorado. We want to take that seat away from a Proud Boy Republican. So give Vic your support over there and follow me on TikTok, YouTube, and support me on Patreon if you have the means. And Vance, thanks again for coming on, and you have a great evening and best of luck to you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.